Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In this video I want to talk about a bit more the macro perspective, then we're gonna go into the shorter time frame, and I want to show you my indicator that has predicted all these tops you can see here and all these lows, and I do think we're gonna predict the next top as well. Right now I want to talk about, I see a lot of negative comments, a lot of people talking about if the cycles are broken and basically that Bitcoin is just gonna go crash from here. I see a lot of retail traders have been completely disappointed by this price action, but I do think this is a very healthy thing for the market overall. The more negative comments I see, the more people are being chopped up in this market, the sooner we're gonna break to the upside in my opinion. So let's start again with this indicator that we've been talking about, is the pitchfork here. Let's go back here on the weekly time frame. All we do is we take here on the CFD chart. So this is the contract for difference, they're called CFD. So these are traded only Monday to Friday basically, so on weekends they are closed. So that's why the price action is slightly different here on Bitcoin. So we want to drag from the bear market lows to the highs to the recent lows. We can see here the modified shift, it has predicted the top here, as we can see to the tick. If you zoom in here, the algorithms are using these median lines to sell. And if we come on the, we can add this back, if we come on the normal scale, we can see very typical price first comes up to the median line, comes back down, then breaks the median line. As soon as we break the median line, price goes back to the logarithmic scale, touches the median line. Here's where the algorithms are dumping their positions. Usually that's where you see the bull market top. Then price likes to retrace. You go back to the normal scale here, price retraces, comes back here to the median line once again. So it has first acted as resistance, then we break it, then it becomes support. You can see this pitchfork predicted the bear market lows. And that's how you can see we have gotten two tops here and one bottom, and that's exactly what we're doing this bull market as well. So we can remove this pitchfork right now. We add the same rules like the previous bull market. So we take basically from the bear market lows to the all-time highs, which was here. We can see the top was here. The previous top we actually got out here, but even though technically this was the all-time high that we went slightly later. So we can see here once again the same pitchfork, we're using the modified shift here. We can see price came up to the median line here, predicted the top. We can see a wick here at the median line, but we can see how accurate the algorithms have been about selling exactly. So you can really clearly see that this line is heavily respected. And we can see once again, if we come on the normal scale, actually I forgot to add this top here. So this top as well were predicted. So price came up here, algorithm started selling, price came back down, price broke above. We go on the log scale, we got the top here basically, and right now we'll go back to the normal scale, and we can see here what happened when price came to the median line. Of course it has bottomed. So in my opinion right now, I do think we're looking for another top, just as we'll come down here when we came to the previous median line. I do think that we have chance to create one more push to the upside and touch this median line once again, because in the bull market, I believe it was 2013, we had something similar. So instead of getting one touch of the median line, we actually got two touches of the median line before we entered a bear market. A few things I wanted to cover here. I see a lot of people are starting to get really bored of this cycle, but we have to remember, look previously with the first halving here, we had a lot of sideways action before we had a major move to the upside. Second halving here, third halving. Right now we're the fourth halving here. Right now we're just getting normal price, sideways price action. I do believe very soon we're gonna break to the upside, and I think there's no need to start calling for lower targets here overall. However guys, we're still in sideways mode. I do believe we're not forming a massive fourth wave here. So let's jump here into the daily chart to see what we can expect in the near future. So I still do believe we have a massive 1 2 3 4. We're still expecting the fifth wave. Our target has been for quite some time this median line here, which was originally 68k, but as we can see with time it goes higher. So right now my target is sitting around 70k, but the longer it takes for us to reach it, the higher the target's gonna go. And as I'm saying, this is my first target guys, so you that are very bullish, please relax. We still have higher targets than this. I still have the original here, which is next, which are around 75,000, and then we have this median line here, which is sitting at around 95 or 100,000 depending when we reach it. I've been getting a lot of backlash for calling the bull market top at around 100k, and this makes me actually more confident that the bull market top is gonna be lower than most people expect, just because usually the loudest people in comment sections are usually the ones that are new to these markets, and they're usually the ones that don't sell the top. So usually the top likes to be shorter than most people expect. Just like previous bull market, most people were calling for 100k, and Bitcoin topped at around 67k. But if you're very bullish and you really are angry at my analysis, I said you can switch this pitchfork. Instead of taking the complete bear market lows, you can use the COVID lows. This was one pitchfork I was using personally back here. I said if it would continue to go higher, this would be a target. So if you're very bullish, you could aim for this median line here, which is going to sit at around 150, 160k, depending when we reach it. Personally, I see this is absolutely insane target for Bitcoin to do something like this. All you have to do is come back on the normal scale and you can see what kind of insane price action you have to get on Bitcoin to reach this target. But that's for you that are very bullish. Personally, I'm looking at this target here because I follow my rules, which I predicted in the previous bull market stops as well. Of course, I will pay attention to what the stock market is doing, what Ethereum is doing. Once we come across this median line, I'm just not blindly gonna put sell orders here. I follow the price each day. So I will see how the rest of the market is looking once we reach this median line, and then I'll decide where I'm selling, where I'm opening my short. So I hope I made that clear. So let's jump here onto the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, Bitcoin hasn't done much. We're still sitting at the 0.5 line here of this pitchfork here as support, which looks very nice. I would like to see some continuation here to the upside. If we break below this line here, it doesn't mean we can't go to this median line here. It's very possible, but it's less likely. So as I mentioned in previous videos, you have to pay attention to, if we take from the third wave here, we pull the pitchfork to the fourth wave and then to the recent highs we made here, and we use the shift one. I would really like to see one more push here to the median line at around 56,000 before then we'll continue to this median line. So this, as I posted also in my Telegram, make sure to join it, link down below. So this actually would be my ideal scenario. I'd really like to get a nice long here, but right now we have found support from the 0.5 line. So as we can see previously here, when we're using, if we switch to the shift one, as I mentioned also yesterday's video, we had an impulse here, price came back here to the 0.5 line here, then we came up to median line and rejected. Similar like here, we have an impulse, but right now we're just using the modified shift. When an impulse here come down to the 0.5 line here, maybe we'll get another push to the median line before we reject. Something like this I'm looking at personally. But as I said, there's still possibility we'll go to the downside. Right now, if we zoom in here on the 4 hour, something I mentioned yesterday, and I want to show you once again, you can follow me here live. We had from the highs here to the recent lows, we can see Bitcoin rejected from the 0.31 Fibonacci, the only Fibonacci you should be using, or that I'm using at least personally. Of course, it's not financial advice, it's just my personal opinion. We can see here right now Bitcoin made a new low here yesterday. We can pull to the new low. Once again, Bitcoin rejected again from the 0.31. So we got a nice short in here. So I hope you guys understand the power of the 0.31s, but as I said, the market is not always going to keep rejecting from the 0.31s. At some point, we're going to break through it. So I do think this resistance is not as heavy. So right now, I'm just looking if we can hold the 0.5 line here. If we start breaking below, I'm aiming for this pitchfork that we've been speaking about. So let me add it once, and I suggest everybody adds this on their chart because this is one of my favorite patterns to trade. So I wouldn't be surprised if we go to 56k. That's something I'm looking at right now, unless we cannot reclaim here. So I'm sitting in short, stop loss at break even. So I'm looking if we can get something like this before we go higher. If you're interested to follow my trades, make sure here to come into the Discord. I share all my trades here for free. We have a nice public chat here. If you decide to come into the VIP, you can come here, follow all my trades, all my charts here. Very nice trading community. So make sure to click the link below if you're interested to join. Lastly, guys, I wanted to cover Ethereum quickly because I know I don't cover this too often. So let's jump into the Ethereum chart here on the weekly time frame. Exactly like on Bitcoin, we can see from the previous bear market, bull market, and then the bear market lows. We can see here Ethereum topped exactly at the median line. As we can see, the algorithms started selling. Similar, if we go away from the logarithmic scale, once we topped here, Ethereum came back down, touched this midline perfectly, which predicted the bear market lows for Ethereum before we rallied. So now the ideal next target for Ethereum would be similar like on Bitcoin, which I want to discuss a bit more. So from the previous bear market to the bull market and then to the bear market, and we're using in this case the shift pitchfork for Ethereum, not the modified shift. So on the shift one here, we can see Ethereum came very close to this median line. Right now Ethereum has rejected and it does not look very well for Ethereum. So this has been my target for the longest time. People think asking me what my target is. I do think there's a possibility to go to this median line, but in my opinion, it does not look very likely right now. Ethereum has to hold these lows that we made here previously at around 2K, 2.1K. If we start breaking these lows here, it's going to look very, very bad for Ethereum, especially if we look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart here on the weekly. Ethereum looks super, super weak against Bitcoin. We can see here we have rejected the 0.5 line here on Ethereum, and I do think if this median line is going to be correct, and this, remember, this is a macro pitch, for pay attention to the time frame below here. So if in fact Ethereum is going to go down here, this means that we're only getting started. So Ethereum has another 34% to go down against Bitcoin. So in my opinion, I'll be looking to short Ethereum when I will look to long Bitcoin overall. Of course, we can fluctuate here. I'm actually holding myself quite out of Ethereum, but I do think unfortunately Ethereum looks super, super bearish here. If we continue lower, this median line is going to act as a magnet, and Ethereum has much, much lower to go compared to Bitcoin. So I hope you guys like the daily updates. I'll update you again, guys, tomorrow. Remember, this is the most important level here on Bitcoin. Pay attention to this fib. So if you go on the 4 hour from the highs to the lows, we need to ideally get a 4 hour close or a daily close above the 0.31. Then I do think that Bitcoin can very easily go to this median line, which is sitting at around 69, 70K. Otherwise, it will go lower, fill at around 56K, fill our buy orders before we go higher. A lot of opportunity right now in the market. Guys, remember, don't be emotional. Trade what you see. Be emotionless looking at the charts. I thank you so much for all the support, and I'll see you inside the Discord. And have a great day. See you again, guys, tomorrow.